What would you sacrifice for the ones you love? This question sounds simple, right? I'm sure you would give anything for those you love. But for Amara, the true meaning of sacrifice she had learned was not in words. It was in action, in heartbreak, and in courage. Her story begins in a small community where the rivers flow and life seemed full of possibility. But for Amara, life felt empty. Amara had once been a beacon of joy in her village. But after several years of marriage and no child to cradle in her arms, the silence in her home grew unbearable. The whispers of the villagers followed her everywhere. Why has the Creator cursed her? Perhaps the ancestors have turned away from her. Her husband, Kweku, tried to comfort her. "We are enough," he would say, holding her hand. But Amara could not quiet the ache in her heart. Each passing year felt heavier, like the weight of the earth pressing down on her. One evening, Kweku returned from the market with a small basket. Inside was a trembling puppy, her fur white as clouds with patches of midnight black. Amara frowned. "Why would you bring me a dog?" she asked, her voice sharp. "She is for you," Kweku said gently. "Her name is Naya. Perhaps she can bring joy where I cannot." Amara stared at the tiny creature. The memories of a childhood dog bite surged, and she turned away. "I don't need a dog." That night, Naya whimpered softly from her basket. Amara tried to ignore it, but something inside her stirred. Reluctantly, she picked the puppy up. Naya licked her hand timidly, her big brown eyes meeting Amara's. In that moment, the first crack formed in the walls around Amara's heart. Days turned into weeks, and Amara found herself unable to resist Naya's charm. The dog followed her everywhere, her small tail wagging like a flag of hope. Naya brought light back into Amara's life in ways she hadn't thought possible. She began to laugh again, first small chuckles, then uncontrollable fits of joy. She cooked Naya special meals, brushed her fur until it gleamed, and taught her commands like sit and stay. Naya, in turn, became fiercely protective. Years passed, and Naya had grown into a beautiful big dog. One evening, as Amara walked by the river, a man known for mocking her approached. He sneered, ready to speak cruel words, but Naya stepped between them, growling low and steady. The man backed away, muttering under his breath. The village began to notice. "She's changed," they said. "That dog is a gift from the ancestors." Amara began to believe it herself. 2 years passed, and something changed in Amara. She felt tired often, and her stomach felt heavy in a way she couldn't explain. Naya seemed to know before Amara did. She began resting her head on Amara's stomach, nudging it gently. Then came the news. Amara was pregnant. The joy that followed was like rain after a long drought. She whispered to Naya, "You knew all along, didn't you?" But with joy came trials. The pregnancy was difficult, and Amara was often weak. Naya never left her side. When Amara struggled to stand, Naya would tug at her shawl to help her up. At night, she lay by Amara's bed, her eyes watchful and protective. When Amara finally gave birth to a healthy baby boy, the village celebrated. But the celebration was short-lived. The rain stopped, the riverbeds dried, crops withered, and hunger spread through the village. The elders gathered and consulted the seer, who revealed the source of the calamity. The Njoka, a serpent spirit that hoarded water in its hidden lair. "The Njoka is angry," the seer said. "It will only be appeased by one who carries a pure heart and unshakable courage. But no one who enters the forbidden forest to face it has ever returned." The village was silent, fear gripping every heart. But Amara, holding her newborn son, stood. "I will go," the villagers gasped. "You cannot. You've just given birth." Amara met their eyes. "If I do not go, we will all die, including my child." Naya barked, stepping forward. Her meaning was clear. "You will not face this alone." Amara and Naya entered the forbidden forest at dawn. The air grew colder, the trees twisting into unnatural shapes. Shadows seemed to move, whispering threats. Their first trial came in the form of illusions. Amara saw visions of her greatest fears, her child crying out for her, Kweku weeping over her grave, Naya abandoned and alone. She fell to her knees, but Naya barked sharply, snapping her out of the visions. Further into the forest, they encountered a dark river. Its waters whispered promises of safety if Amara turned back. She hesitated, but Naya leapt into the river, swimming across and looking back, urging Amara forward. The lair of the Njoka was a cavern shrouded in mist, its walls glistening with the water it hoarded. The serpent itself was massive, its golden scales reflecting the dim light, its eyes glowing with malice. "You dare enter my domain," the Njoka hissed, its voice like thunder. Amara stepped forward, trembling but resolute. "The drought is killing my people. I ask for mercy." The Njoka's laughter echoed. "Mercy? What will you offer in return?" "I will offer my life," Amara said. The serpent's eyes narrowed. "Your life is nothing, but what of the one who loves you most?" Amara turned to see Naya standing tall, growling. "Leave her," the Njoka whispered. "Abandon her, and I will spare your village." Tears filled Amara's eyes. "I will never abandon her." With a roar, the Njoka lunged. Naya leapt to meet it, her teeth sinking into its neck. The serpent thrashed wildly, but Naya held on. Amara, gathering all her courage, seized a fallen spear and struck the Njoka's heart. The serpent let out a final roar before collapsing. As its body faded, water burst forth from the cavern, rushing out to restore the rivers and land. Amara carried Naya back to the village. But Naya was gravely injured from the battle. The dog's body was battered, her breathing shallow. That night, as the stars glittered above, Naya rested her head on Amara's laps. Her tail wagged weakly, as if to say, "You'll be okay now." A moment later, her once vibrant eyes dulled, and there was a heart-wrenching silence as her breathing gradually slowed to a halt. In that devastating moment, Naya passed away, leaving a profound emptiness where her warmth had been. Amara wept so much, tears streaming down her face, cradling her loyal guardian. Naya was buried under a great baobab tree. Amara's son grew up hearing of the dog who had saved them all, and he passed the tale down to his own children. Though the pain of loss lingered, it never left. But Amara found peace knowing that Naya's courage had restored life to the land and left a mark in her heart forever. Naya's love and courage had saved them all. Naya was more than just a dog. She was family, a source of hope and joy during a tough time, and a symbol of love and loyalty. What would you sacrifice for the ones you love? Naya had answered that question with her life. A dog is that one absolute, unselfish friend a man can have. The one that never proves ungrateful or treacherous. The only one who would not betray or deny him. Tell us in the comment, are you a dog lover? Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the story. See you in the next one.